Welcome to the Story Learning Podcast, regular doses of language learning tips and motivation to help you become fluent in any language. With me, Olly Richards. For language programs, books, free resources, and much more, visit StoryLearning.com. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the I Will Teach You a Language podcast. Did I mention before, I think I might have mentioned before, that I've been getting these big urges to go back to studying Italian recently. I don't know, I have to say, for the last couple of years, my language learning has been a little bit, it hasn't been as active as I would have liked, but I keep getting these big kind of pangs to go back and spend time on particular languages. I had it this weekend on two languages in particular. First of all was Japanese, because we've been recording a new introduction video for my website, because I Will Teach You a Language is getting a big new redesign that's going to look amazing. And I want to put a video on the front page that basically kind of sums up what I'm about and what I'm trying to do with the website. And so we went and did some filming around London, and we filmed, me speaking different languages around London, and one of the things I did with that in Camden Lock, if you know London, is I sat with my friend Takeshi, and we spoke Japanese for a while. And I remember thinking, man, I really would like my Japanese not to suck so much. I'd like to spend some time really getting it back, or improving my level, I guess I should say. And then on that day, one of the assistant producers for the video, it was an Italian guy called Andrea, a really, really nice guy, and he's Italian, and it's yet another person in a long stream of really cool Italian people that I've met, and it makes me think, because I used to speak Italian really well, and then I kind of lost it when I moved back to London, started learning Spanish, and then didn't keep up my Italian. And I've always regretted it, and I think it's really high time for me to spend a bit of time getting it back. And so I'm feeling these big pangs coming on. Today's questioner has truckloads of free time, and she's asking how to use that free time best. I wish I was in that situation. Now, without any further ado, let's hear from Olga.
Hi, Olly. My name's Olga, and I come from Ukraine. First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude. Thanks for all your amazing podcasts. Your work is highly commendable. Just a bit of my language learning story. I'm a student and my major is foreign languages, so I study English, German, and Polish. Since I live in Ukraine, I can also communicate in Russian, but that does not matter really. So, recently I've set out to learn Spanish, and now I have summer vacation. I've heard you speaking about some techniques to implement language learning into extremely busy, hectic lifestyle. Since I'm relatively free right now, I'd like to ask you for your recommendations how to use this time most effectively, how to maintain my English and upgrade my Polish and German, and still improve my Spanish. Thanks!
Hi, Olga. Thank you very much for a question that's going to make a lot of people green with envy, I think, because so much free time and all those languages to learn. Well, first of all, you've got to enjoy it. Okay, that's the main thing. But let me get to that over the course of my answer. So here's the thing: it doesn't matter how much free time you've got. I don't personally think that you can properly, actively learn more than one language. Now, for you. Well, I should qualify that, I guess. You can't actively learn more than one language and do it well, for all the reasons that we've covered in different podcasts. Now, if Spanish is the language that you're focusing on, then what I would suggest you do is to devote a large amount of daily study time to that. Okay, because Spanish is given all the languages that you already know, Spanish won't be particularly hard for you. So I think now that you've got free time, you've got a really good opportunity to make some progress with it. So I would choose a certain amount of time every day that you're comfortable with, maybe a couple of hours, and then spend that daily time studying Spanish. And it should be daily. You've got an opportunity to immerse yourself in that language right now. So take that opportunity and have that nice kind of daily study time with Spanish. Now, remember that languages are long-term pursuits, and I often have the feelings like this, I've got a couple of weeks where I'm really free now, or maybe I'm going to spend the next month focusing on this language or that language. And then inevitably I don't do as much as I plan. And then the rest of your life takes over again. And it always reminds me that the bigger question for this is always how to use these languages in your daily life. Because when this busy period comes to an end, you've still got to go about your life and use those languages and not lose them, right? So, I think I would really say that because you can already speak those other languages, your Polish, your German, and your Russian, I guess, and your English, which is fantastic, I would say to you, just go out and enjoy the time. Use the free time you've got to enjoy those languages to the full. Forget about studying. You can always do more studying later, but go out and do the things that you normally wouldn't have time for. When you're busy with your working or you're at school or whatever, you don't have time for a lot of things. You can kind of snatch 15 minutes here or there, an hour if you're lucky. But when you've got these big periods of free time, you can go out and do really cool things that you can really immerse yourself in the language with. And remember, I'm not talking about studying here. I'm talking about actually living the language. So go to meetups, go to language meetups near you. Go on to languageexchange.com or mylanguageexchange.com and find some people to do language exchanges with locally. So you can exchange, because that's cool. You meet some new people and practice the language. Go and travel if that option's available to you. Why don't you go down to Poland and spend some time there? Read books in the languages that in these languages you're trying to keep up. Maybe you can take a course. Lots of universities have free courses. You could go to a German university and study a course on anything you like in German. Maybe you can start a blog and do a bit of writing in one of those languages that's stronger for you. It doesn't really matter, but I would focus on substantial activities and deep focus. So think to yourself, okay, tomorrow is my German day. How can you do something where you really immerse yourself in German and you use it and you speak it and you read it and just try to enjoy it as much as you can? The more time you can spend in the company of the language, the more it will mean to you and the more beneficial it's going to mean to you. I wouldn't try to just cram in a few weeks of a crazy study just for the sake of it. So why don't you try this? Why don't you sit down, grab a piece of paper and a pen, and make a list of all the things that you'd like to do in your life with those languages. So what excites you about German? What excites you about Polish? What excites you about English? Make a list of kind of like a dream board of a few things that you'd love to be able to do with those languages. And now go out and do them in the free time that you've got, because there will never be a better time to live these languages that you know. All right, that's my very, very simple and straightforward answer to the question. So I hope that was helpful, and hopefully that inspires you to make the most out of the free time that you have. Even though when you did leave me the question, it was a couple of months ago, so I hope that free time hasn't come to an end now. Anyway, if it's too late for you, then hopefully for somebody else it will be beneficial. So thank you very much for the question, Olga. If you would like to ask me a question, I'd love to hear from you. Please go to iwillteachyoualanguage.com/ask in order to do that. And also, I would really appreciate a quick review on the iTunes store. Now, it will take you under 60 seconds. All you have to do is open up iTunes on your computer or your phone, search for the I Will Teach You a Language podcast, and then click the button that says leave a rating and review. And you can write anything you want. You can tell me you hate the podcast. I don't care. Just write something. And that would it would mean a lot to me, because it helps me reach more people with language learning and with all the stuff that we talk about here. So if you do have a free moment, please do leave a rating and review of the podcast on iTunes. I'd love you forever. All right then, now I'm going to leave you with a quote today, which comes from the Dalai Lama. And he said, "In order to carry a positive action, we must develop here a positive vision." In order to carry a positive action, we must develop here a positive vision. And I think, Olga, with all of your languages and everything that you are going to do in your life with those, everything has to start with that vision that you've got. Best of luck.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. And here at Story Learning, everything that I do is powered by stories, whether that's writing books, teaching lessons, crafting courses. My mission is to help everyone succeed at learning a new language through the power of story. And we now have comprehensive language courses in over 15 languages, from Spanish to French, Korean to Japanese, and across all levels from beginner to mastery. And you can take a 7-day free trial of any of these programs by visiting storylearning.com/courses. I've poured my heart and soul into creating these courses over the last 10 or so years, and we've helped tens of thousands of new students achieve their dreams of learning a new language, all through the power of story. So go ahead and take a free trial. There's no commitment. You can try out our method for free. See if this can also be the breakthrough for you that it's been for so many other people. storylearning.com/courses.